Hello everybody, this is Laura Susan Johnson once again for Period Pieces. I'm going to go ahead and review the sequel to Adam. Adam was shown on network TV on October 10th, 1983. I do not know the exact air date of Adam, His Song Continues, but I do know it was released in 1986 on network TV. And it is a great sequel, and I honestly never watched it until probably about a year ago. I thought, well, I don't know. It sounds like all it is the family just sort of getting along and having more children and, you know, meeting with people that saw the movie and saying how much they liked it. It sounds kind of boring. And I took a chance and I started to watch it. And it begins with the family simply watching the first movie on TV. And a little bit later, right after the movie actually it's not too much later, it's like within a day or two, somebody decides to confess to the crime, and it's none other than this Otis Toole character who's in prison, I guess in Florida somewhere, on another charge. And of course he and that Henry Lee Lucas were notorious for all kinds of crimes, murder, robbery, all kinds of things. So Toole confesses to the slaying of Adam Walsh. And John Walsh is absolutely livid. He's like, you know, what happens now? Is he going to get executed? That's going to be up to a jury, or does he plea? If he plea bargains in jail, then he just simply, you know, then somebody will have to decide if he gets the death sentence or if he just continues with another term attached to his present term in prison. And Jay comes back. Richard Mazur's character makes a return, and he tries to calm down, you know, John and Reve, especially after Otis Toole suddenly decides to recant and say, no, I didn't do it. You know, just playing fucked up games, you know, with the Walshes. And people who are sick in the head will do that. They'll play fucked up games for attention. And it won't be for decades, you know, before all that evidence comes to light about the Cadillac and all the pictures that were taken with the bloody, the luminol blood impressions, and where the Walshes will finally, you know, reconcile in their mind that yes, Otis Toole did do it, and there couldn't have been any other. But back in '86, it would be just years and years. They just have to deal with this mind game that Otis Toole plays with them. So, in the meantime, Reve Walsh, they've got their little girl Megan, and she's, I'd say, about 3 going on 4 years old. And Reve asks John, you think it'd be a good idea if we had another baby? Because we're running around doing all kinds of appearances and publicities, and we're fighting to get these bills passed, and you're traveling a lot, helping Jay out, trying to get, you know, Congress, you know, different state legislatures pass for the children. In the meantime, his motel business that he was running, you know, the luxury hotel business that he was running before Adam disappeared, they're getting increasingly irritated at him because he's never around to do the job that he used to do so well. He used to be so good at it, but when you lose a child, your purpose is rearranged in life. So John Walsh is, with family or without family, whether he's got Revea and Megan with him, he's always traveling. He's always traveling to different states, to different cities, to different appearances, functions, you name it. Meetings with judges, meetings with not diplomats, but you know what I mean, just important people, government people, trying to help them to understand that there are predators out there and they're snatching children off the street every single day, hundreds every day. And so it's just something that is not going to go away without some intervention. And with all this, Dad's not around a whole lot, Revea asked John, let's have another baby so that Megan will have a little friend, because you're not here a lot. There's no telling when this will ever change. You may have a second career, or maybe even a changed career. You may make a life. You may make a new life of this. Fighting to get new government laws on the books. So, before too long, Revea is pregnant, and Jay comes by and visits, and he says, John, this part-time stuff of, talking to the government people about these laws that are supposed to help the children, we need you full-time. We need you there in Washington. Other people will not do. You're the one who lost the child. You're the one whose voice... You're the voice of the people who have lost their children. And I have never seen anybody do it as well as you. We need you. And John's irritated. I've got a job that I love. I've done this motel business forever. I just don't want to lose this. But in the meantime, the people that he has partnered with and basically helped, he's basically built this hotel business from the ground up a decade ago. I mean, it's not like he's just some guy that walked in the door and applied for a job for, a motel manager. He's one of the guys who helped build it up. So, but they're still mad at him because he's not there. And try as they might, they can't understand what he's going through. They can't understand. Unless you've lost a child, you'll never, ever understand that it's not something you get over in a year. It's not something you get over in 10 years. It's not something you'll get over in 40 years. You'll never get over it. You can live, you can keep functioning, you can smile, you can laugh, you can have good times with your family, but always in the back of your existence is the fact that you've lost a child, and you've lost a child in the worst way imaginable. There's just no getting around it. So, and that's always been, the drive that's kept me who I am. It doesn't matter that my siblings are grown up now. I'm scared that even if they're adults, I'm afraid that they're going to meet the wrong person to date. And that person's going to be the next Jodi Arias, Arias, whatever the hell her name is. So, yeah, I've always been that way. It's just an implied worry. I've never actually had it happen, but when you've been treated the way I have by my father, it just messes you up. It messes your head up. So I can only taste what the Walshes have been through and what all the other people, the Pateses. So Jay gets John to thinking, maybe we should try it for just a year. Let's just get an apartment in Washington, D.C. We'll rent our house out. We don't have to leave this beautiful house here in Florida. We'll just rent our house out, and we'll go up there, and I'll work, and, you know, I'll be there. The baby, I'll be close to you so that when the baby comes, you know. But then still he keeps traveling all over the place. He goes to California, he goes to Alabama, he goes here, he goes there. And for a while, Reve is so angry because the baby's on its way, and Joe's mom and brother come up to visit, but it's just, you know, they can't come up and stay forever. Luckily, though, when the baby when the baby is getting ready to be born, John happens to be close by. There are some difficulties with Callahan, the second baby. He is born with a condition called wet lung, where he just inhaled some fluid or something during coming out of the birth canal. And John, it's a very poignant scene. John talks to, prays to Adam. He says, Adam, you got to take care of your brother. You got to take care of your little brother. And I don't have any, I never took offense to that. I thought it was lovely. I think it's okay to talk to the dead. I think it's okay to maybe ask them to intercede, or what do you call it? Intervene. Go to God, you know, be the middleman between the, you know, baby Callahan and God. I don't know. I thought it was just amazing. I just loved it. And when the baby recovered, John says, you know, we have Adam to thank for this, you know, and I just loved it. It was so such a beautiful, beautiful moment. But you know, it's not a terrifying movie until there comes a time towards the end of the movie, and John is worn out from all the traveling. He starts getting colds and things, and they're worried that maybe he'll drop dead from exhaustion. And he does take their advice, and he starts going to the hospital and making sure he's okay. He gets some tests run, and but right about that time, this young girl, Stacy, is it Stacy Jasbeck? It's a strange last name, but it was a real case that happened right at that time. I think it's Stacy Jasbeck. She was from that local area. Somewhere around Fort Lauderdale, or maybe Miami or something, somewhere around that area. And she disappeared while riding her bike, and her mother came to the Walshes, and she was just frozen with terror, just almost catatonic with terror, and it just didn't end well. And the movie ended pretty much on a very downbeat. It was just sad. And that music from Mike Post. Mike Post does the music for Law and Order, and probably some other good shows. But the music that Mike Post did for Adam, and Adam, his song continues, was terrifying. Just, it had such a just such a foreboding, frightening, you know, mood to it. It was just subtle but very terrifying. And that same music played when Stacy Jasbeck, if I'm saying it right, if I'm not, I apologize, when she disappeared. So, yes, now that the 4th of July is over, I am dedicating July to missing children's movies. So it's kind of going to be a little bit of a somber month. There's a lot of good movies. Anyway, Adam, his song continues, 10 out of 10.